Welcome back, everybody, to an episode of The Careful Boys where we have a social media star, really good-looking, tall Asian guy as well. Financial guru, man. Successful.
Damn! Rich and handsome.
Mr. Steve Chen in the building, everybody. Come on.
Steve Chen. Welcome, Mr. Steve.
Thanks for having me.
He's fit, too.
And he's Taiwanese specifically. No China jokes, Joe.
Yeah. Chill out with that, dude. I wasn't gonna make any China jokes to hurt your homeland and your CCP pride, but then I'll do it anyway.
All right. Okay. Good start. So, Steve, hey, thank you for coming out onto this channel. Again, we preempted you right before we started rolling, but like this is usually where, you know, people come to die with their career.
They don't say
that.
Why do you start
coming here, right?
Why do you start it off like that?
Not you, Steve. Not you.
Okay, now
After Tulsi came here, she became director of national intelligence.
Yeah, people.
Oh, that's true.
Dude.
That's true. Yeah.
So this is either their springboard.
Yes, we launch people.
The elephant's graveyard.
No,
Give you your springboard to even more.
Yeah.
we
for sure.
launch people and then they never come back.
But so Steve, like you do a bunch of. I was actually talking to my cousin yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I follow him." And he's like, "Yeah, he does a lot of like really easy to digest financial advice and content for like the generic people that like really are kind of naive and don't know a lot."
Oh, you almost said dumbass financial IQ.
So Joe likes to sabotage everything that we do on this channel, and it's his channel. That's the ironic part.
Yep, he sabotages, not me.
How did that start?
Oh, you sabotage it in a different way.
Still going. I saw one of your clips talking about how you were a public school teacher that turned into a millionaire, self-made millionaire stuff. I'd love to hear that transition, that story, like how this whole thing came to be for you.
There's another person that was a teacher that became a multi-billionaire, and his name is Epstein.
That's true.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
But let's hear the Taiwanese version of it.
Please.
So I used to be a teacher. I taught in, I used to teach in California, and just growing up, I was raised by immigrant Taiwanese mom and dad. They came here back in their 80s, you know. And,
Can we get specific high school teacher?
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
Okay.
But what about subject? Like what subject?
Sure, I taught math. Yeah. So I taught middle school math. I taught primarily 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
So what is that, like algebra, geometry, pre-algebra type
A little
stuff?
bit of algebra, a little bit of geometry, mostly a lot of pre-algebra too. Yeah, so pre-algebra, algebra. So I taught for 7, 8 years.
Wow.
In the public school system. I taught for...
That must have been a nightmare.
There's interesting stories, of course. I taught SAT math too. Wow. I did a lot of like tutoring after school and everything, so I did like a lot of that for 17 years.
Man, you could have saved me.
Yeah, for real.
Dang.
You're the tutor.
Just a lot of teaching. Yeah, for sure. And I think just growing up, my parents raised me. You know, we have like a lot of Asian parents. They were very frugal. My mom and dad came here, I think back in like '85, and they didn't really have much. So when they came here, they just didn't speak the language, speak English or anything like that. My dad went to school. My mom was the one who worked all the time. She worked at, where did she work at? Like a lot of restaurants. She was a waitress. She was a maid. She used to clean other people's houses. So when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I used to go with her after school from home to home. And I would sit down in all these rich people's homes, like just watching my mom work. And she'd be like vacuuming, cooking food, you know, folding their laundry and everything. I'd be sitting in the living room just doing my homework or like drawing or something like that.
Wow, how were you so well behaved at that age?
I don't know. I was like pretty introverted all my life. I mean, I'm introverted right now. And yeah, I just saw my mom just work really hard. Something that I always tell a lot of my audience is like, my mom, she's kind of like my hero, right? So she was kind of like my role model growing up. So every day she would work, we would, she'd be kind of like stressed out, super tired. It'd be like 7, 8, 9 p.m. nighttime. We'd go back to the car. And I remember my mom would just start crying sometimes.
Damn!
Yeah, so she'd be like very just stressed out, and she'd be like, she wouldn't even drive. She'd just like sit there, and I'd be like in the passenger seat, and she would look at me and be like, oh, so my full name's Steven, right? So she'd be like, oh, 芬芬，你长大你不要用你的手，要用你的头。 So that's translated. It's don't use your hands, use your head.
But it rhymed though, so it was bars.
Bars.
So that stuck with me, and I was like, oh man, like she told me that she doesn't want me to kind of follow this path of her, workings with her, like doing a lot of manual labor. So my mom and dad, they taught me growing up, like, you gotta be super frugal, you gotta work really hard, you gotta go to school, get good grades and everything. So I did that. I mean, I feel like a lot of our Asian parents taught us the same thing. So I did the same thing. I got pretty good grades, went to school, got my, took my SATs, got my bachelor's degree, teaching credentials, master's degree in education.
What did you get your bachelor's in?
It was actually in science.
In science.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So science, and then I got my master's in education towards
tight.
math.
When you said that your dad was in school, what was he studying?
He studied a couple of different things. He studied accounting and computer science.
So he was like going to university or something? I see. And then like, did he end up doing any of those things? Like accounting or whatever?
He's an accountant right now. He's a controller.
Well, that's cool. Like she was like doing the whole hustle. It's like, all right, teamwork, like I'll pay the bills, and then like you're gonna do the long term. That was their teamwork, right?
Oh wow,
That
dang.
was,
That's
my
tight.
mom would get the money first while my dad goes to school, and then it would kind of shift over.
Yeah, my parents tried that, but then it didn't really work out. My dad ended up just running, but like that's tight though.
So Joe's wondering if your dad ever ran.
He did, obviously, because their plan worked out.
That's good.
How did you go from teaching to? Because usually teaching you stay like poor. How did you go teaching and then bam, millionaire? Like what was the journey there?
That's true.
So when I first started teaching, I think I got paid around $52,000 a year, something like that, before tax. All right, and I remember like, wow, when I first got my paycheck, I was like, oh, like I'm not actually getting that pay that much, because after taxes and everything just cut off, I'm like, oh, I'm left with a couple of $1,000s. And living in California, taxes, just living expenses is super high. So I came to this sudden like realization that, yeah, there's no way I can live and retire comfortably. I punched in the numbers myself. I'm a math teacher, right? I'm a numbers guy. And I was like, oh, even if I save, I live very frugally until I'm like 60, 65 years old. There is absolutely no way.
So
no
even
way.
with, what you call it, tenure or seniority and all the union stuff, you still wouldn't make the enough?
I wouldn't. Well, they do give us a raise every year. Yeah. So they, we're after 2 years for the public school education system. After 2 years of teaching, then you're off probation, then you're tenured. Yeah, but then we get like I want to say around a 2 to 5% increase on an annual basis, something like that. It depends on each year. Yeah, for sure. But that's just barely keeping up with inflation. Yeah. So that was pretty tough. But like throughout my entire college years, I was going to school, and like I saw my mom. She went from being a waitress, being a maid, and then she started to start her own business with her restaurant business. So before she opened up her restaurant, back in high school, she would cook at home. So that's how the business started. So she would make a lot of, bientang, like the, what is it called? Like bento boxes. Yeah, that's right. So she would cook a lot of these bento boxes for other families. And then a lot of people loved her cooking, so word of mouth spread. And then she started cooking a whole bunch of food for all these different families every night. So I remember coming home every day as a high school kid, middle school kid. I'll just see all these like bento boxes just like everywhere on the dining room table, all these stacks of bento boxes that she gets from her suppliers and everything. And then her and my dad would just be cooking away, like just sweating and cooking, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. And you just see them stressed out, right, as there's more customers. And they're Asian, so like whatever customers come their way, they have a hard time saying no. So they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna cook for you. And I just remember like the house just smelling like like kongxingcai. What is that called? Like on choy or
Oh yeah,
just
like a hollow
just-
vegetable.
Yeah. It's just a whole bunch of like bok choy, like eggs and shrimp and everything. That's just what our house smelled like. So they'd be doing that, and after they would be done, my dad would then pack up all the bento boxes, and then he would go deliver them to families' homes, or they would come over and then pick it up. But then afterwards, that's when we had our meal, and we would then start to eat. Yeah, so that was kind of like the journey. But then, just like seeing my parents go through all of that, I felt like, I don't know, I think growing up, I felt it would be a disservice of me if I didn't work hard myself. Because I would see my mom every day. She would wake up at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. sometimes to pass out flyers. And she would go to neighborhood to neighborhood to pass out flyers into, like put in people's cars, in front of people's like doorways and everything with the menu and everything. Sometimes she would tell me that
Just for at-home cooking.
Just for at-home cooking.
She was trying to do her own Yelp stuff.
So we didn't have like social media back then, so she didn't know how to advertise. So that was the way that she could get her leads. So yeah, it was pretty intense. And she would tell me that there would be times where neighbors would come out and just like start yelling at her, like, "What are you doing on my doorstep?" and everything. I don't want this Chinese shit. It was scary, yeah. And then she's like this little tiny little Asian lady, just like trying to do her thing, and I don't know. It was just really tough for her. But I mean, I think just observing my mom like this, my dad just working very hard when I grew up, I felt like I needed to do the same thing, to put in the same work ethic.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a little brother. Yeah. So
Because I feel like I saw my parents work hard too, but it didn't register in my brain that I needed to be grateful.
you guys have this podcast, and I remember you had your clothing brand and everything, and
Like the work ethic,
Yeah.
I think ended up like rubbing off.
yeah.
But as a kid, I never remember going like, oh, like this is this is the life my parents are trying to set me up for. Yeah. I should be like grateful, and I should do well in school. I didn't see it. And I'm now thinking back, I'm like, oh shit. There's hella times where my mom had like to work overtime because she would usually come home between 5 and 6. But then there was nights she's like, I'm gonna come home at 9, just have to work overtime for like the extra hours. And I'm like, oh, that just means more TV time for me. Yeah. And I'm not thinking like, oh man, she worked so hard. Maybe I should like run a hot bath for her, or I just never thought like that.
Triple lock the door.
Yeah, what made you like what?
Yeah, how old were you when you had these like
Yeah,
deep ass
so mature.
thoughts? Yeah. I would just be like, man, you guys like to work too much. I'm out here with my G.I. Joes and shit. Like,
I think it might be an IQ disparity.
You guys need to chill out for a little bit.
so much.
I think it's down to IQ.
I'm not like smart or anything. I mean, I back when I was in middle school, I saw my parents do all this. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are working so hard, and I got to do this too. I was playing like StarCraft and Diablo 2 and just clicking away in my room and everything, right? So I think it's just when it came to when I was in college, and I got my first couple of jobs. I worked at like American Eagle, GNC, just a couple of different places. Back then it was like what, $6.25 minimum wage. So getting that $6.25, and then after taxes it's like $4 something, $5 something. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm spending an hour and I have to like drive all the way there. I worked at Point of Hills.
Yeah, Point of
so I
Hills.
worked at American Eagle there. It's gone now, but
R.I.P.
That whole mall's kind of gone.
That's why I touched boobies for the first time.
Oh, cool.
At American Eagle?
No, Point of Hills. We're watching. We're
around the corner.
We're watching them.
So let's take it back. So you're a numbers guy. You do math. You look at your 50 to 52K salary a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like what sparked the change? Because you still said you were working for like 6 to 7 years or something like that as a teacher.
that's right. Yeah.
So what was the transition? What was either the catalyst to being like, I'm going to do something different?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when I first started teaching at working at American Eagle and GNC and all these little different places, I was working at this art school one day, and then I was the receptionist, and a parent came over and was asking me about like, oh, where do you go to school? What are you studying? And I was like, just a college kid. And then she's like, oh, I have 3 sons. Like, can you maybe tutor them in math and science? I was like, oh yeah, I'm a science major. I love math. So then I started tutoring And that was like my first client. And when I tutor, I was like, oh man, like instead of making $6.25 an hour, I was making like 15 an hour.
Sick.
And I was like, oh, it's double. And I get to choose my times. And then it's like it's just very flexible. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of nice to just do my own thing rather than just being on a schedule that I have to, whatever when my American Eagle manager had to like, set me up for. So I think I went down this whole tutoring route. So I tutored the kids, and then the parents were like, oh, like, can I refer you to my friends and my other friends and family members? So it just became this whole thing. I told all my other friends and family members about my whole tutoring service, and it just became like one student became 2, then 4, then 8, then, like 12, 16, so on and so forth. I got to a point where I had too many students, and I was like, okay, like I can't take any more. I need to do something. I gotta like find more time, or I gotta increase my price. So then I was really scared at that time. I think I was like 20 something years old, and I'm like, okay, I have to like tell the parents that I am charging more. It just felt kind of awkward for me.
It was scary.
It was really scary. So I was like, okay, what if I charge 25, $10 more? And all the parents were like, yeah, sure, why not?
Because it's nothing to them.
Thank God. Should have said 30.
I know. And then I was like, okay. So I just kind of tested a little bit, and then just over time, it became like $35 an hour, and then $60, and then $70, and then $80 an hour.
80 an hour.
I learned that I learned a lot through my whole entrepreneurship, through tutoring, that it's like, who do you choose as clients, right? Who are the best type of clients that you really want to work with? I learned that working with people who want to haggle with you all the time, they're like, oh, how about $10, $15 an hour? I'm like, oh, but I'm charging $60, $70, $80 an hour right now. And even when I say yes to that, I find that there's always problems with the parents. It's just like, just being transparent. Like they're always calling me, texting me, like, oh, what's my son doing? However, with my more higher paying clients, like $60, $70, $80 an hour, they're more respectful of my time. They're like, oh, I canceled on you today. I just told you an hour ago. It's okay. I'm still going to pay you for your time, because we understand that we're entrepreneurs ourselves. So I'm like, oh, I really appreciate you guys being very respectful and understanding that way. So I learned to focus more on, like, okay, what kind of clientele am I trying to attract, and also making sure that now I have all these students, I have to make sure that I provide really good value and make sure that their test scores and their homework scores go up.
Yeah. So during that whole time when you're raising your price, you're also seeing and showing a lot of success through these students, right? These kids are like doing great and all their... Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I always have a meeting before I take them on, because I was very selective with who I chose. I don't just choose anyone. I'm like, okay, parents and the kids have to, like, we have to meet at Starbucks or maybe at my house or whatever it is, and then I get a good sense of how the kid is. If I see that they can't really pay attention, they're kind of like fidgeting around, and they're kind of rude to their mom, and they just kind of backtalk. I'm like, okay, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's not a tutor problem.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, it's okay. But then
That's a Bart problem. How would you tell them? How would you turn them down? How do you turn them away easy?
It's true. Yeah. How do you do?
I would say
It's $300 an hour.
Oh, my rate just went up.
Your kid's too smart for me.
I wouldn't tell them right away. I would just say, okay, let me think about it. Let me look at my schedule, and I'll let you know. And then I would just kind of
And then leave town.
I moved.
This ain't gonna work out. You can't have 2 ADHD motherfuckers in this room. I gotta be the only one.
I was counting on your son to keep me in check.
This one was gonna be the chill one.
So the word was spreading around communities that, like, hey, this guy tutor a kid and like help them, and like that family's friend's family. It would just go like that, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Because that was huge back in the day.
Word spread really fast, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then even before, like, I was trying to, I kind of dialed the knob down when I was, dialed the knob down when I was tutoring, when I was getting my master's degree and my teaching credentials. And I was in this program where I had to get both at the same time. Oh, shit. And I also had to go to school, go to night classes, take online classes, and go to a school in Anaheim to do my master student teaching. So I would have to shadow a teacher, a master teacher, and then do all that. So I was like, okay, I don't have enough time in the day to like tutor as much. But then once I got my public school teaching job, I was like, okay, I gotta start balancing things out. And then that's when I started increasing my tutoring outreach. But then at that time, because I didn't have that many students anymore, because I kind of let them go, I had to kind of ramp up, like, how do I get more leads? So at that time, I didn't really know social media that well. I didn't know how to market myself. So I did the same thing what my mom did. So I went to a copy place and then I printed out all my business cards, and it just literally said, want a really good tutor, and then back is like my name and then like my phone number, just something like that, right? And then I printed out a whole bunch of like brochures, like what I offered and everything. I would go to 168 Market and 99, like 99 Ranch. Yeah. I just like pass out flyers, put it in people's cars. I was kind of scared too. And then I would also wear my shirt and tie and then slacks and my dress shoes every day, because I wanted to present myself like, oh, I'm a teacher. I don't want to be wearing like basketball shorts or anything. So parents would come out of 168. And I'll be, oh, hey, like, ai ni hao, and like, oh, do you want tutor? Does your child need tutoring? Da da da.
Oh, you're a hustler.
I had a whole bunch of people just like walk away, just like not talk to me, and
Don't tell me nothing.
yeah, they were like, or they would talk to me and they're just like, no, like, and they just like walk away. And I just be passing out things, and sometimes I would see security guards like in the corner, because I don't think you're supposed to really.
Yeah,
so
the soliciting.
Need a tutor?
And I would go back the next day or after 2 days, and I just see all my business cards like on the ground, and it's just like like tires went over. I just became really sad. I remember like it was just so hard for me because I didn't know how to get leads at that time, right? So I was doing that. I was going house to house. I didn't know at that time that you weren't supposed to open people's mailboxes and put stuff inside. It was like a federal offense or something.
Oh, you're not supposed to? Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I had people call me. So I would every day I would pass out these flyers and business cards, and then I would go back to my car and just be like be praying like, oh my gosh, I hope I get like at least one call today. I got a call one time, or like 2 times. I got a call. I'm like super excited. Picked up. And then I just had this like person just start yelling at me. And they were like, you cannot put your business card or your flyer in my mailbox. This is offense. I'm going to call the police on you. Da 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 da. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Like, I promise it won't happen again. But it was just a really tough time for me. There were times where I was just like, I don't know, like crying in the car. Just like trying, like, I can't believe I'm just hoping, praying that I get like a lead from someone. But when I did get leads, I'd be like super excited. I'd be like, I don't know, I would just be like, I'd be in the bathroom, just be like talking to myself like, oh my gosh, I got it. Like, good job, Steve, you can do it. I'd be like telling like, oh yeah, this is what I offer. I can help your kid go from a B to an A- at least, as long as they do their homework here. And I'm gonna give them practice homework. And I think, just doing all that, just seeing what my mom did with her business, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this too. I gotta.
Would you make more money as a tutor or as like a teacher? You're not getting paid $70 an hour as a teacher.
No, absolutely not. I think I calculated it. It was around like 20 or something like that. $20 an hour after everything.
But you're doing that full time. So unless you like transition to tutoring full time, like 6-7 hours a day, right?
That's true. Most kids aren't available like
You probably only,
But he's a math guy, so we're gonna do the numbers on the next episode, y'all.
Hey.